Cajun style seafood place. Fun thing about Bourbon Street is they actually get their fish fresh daily from the canal. Yeah. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I'm just kidding. They don't. They don't usually stay right in front of us. They usually get out of the way.
They needed a ride.
Huh?
They needed a ride.
Well, you're about to get one. Yeah, so this canal, it has fish. We don't supply it with fish, but people like to bring their pet fish out here and dump them. We find really big goldfish a few times a year. Also, these ducks and geese that you see out here, they fly over to the river sometimes, and when they do that, they get fish eggs caught in their tail feathers. So they bring them back over here and transplant them into the canal. So that's how we got fish. But while we're talking about tail feathers, guys, I've got a question for all of you. Y'all listening? All right. Does anybody know why ducks have tail feathers?
Swim?
What?
Swim?
To swim?
Yeah.
Close. It's to cover their butt quacks. I've got more where that came from. And I know y'all felt those bumps. That was just a couple canal gators just nipping at us. It's fine. Right in front of us, this is the Devon Centennial Mosaic. This was done by a group of students out at OCCC. OCCC is a community college a few miles south of here. It took this group of students about 3 to 4 years to complete. Altogether, this mosaic is made up of over 600,000 tiles. It shows a lot of our state symbols. So over to the left, we've got our state mammal, the American bison. We've got our state tree, the redbud. To the right, we've got the 3 Native American women pouring water into the canal. This signifies the deep Native American history here in Oklahoma. And lining the top of the mosaic are 77 bricks. Those bricks have the names of all 77 counties here in Oklahoma. And down that alley in front of us, you'll see a peacock. Does anybody know what a peacock means here in Oklahoma? No? It's because it doesn't mean anything. Man, you're trying though. No, so when they first started showcasing street art down here, they only had one rule. That rule was that your art had to have something to do with Oklahoma, hence that mosaic. But that artist, Jack Fowler, he was like, you know, that's not really fair. None of my art has anything to do with Oklahoma. So him and his friends, they got together, they protested down here a little bit, and he eventually got another rule added. So now there's 2 rules. On either side of us, this is Brickopolis. This is the newest addition to the canal. If you notice, a lot of Bricktown, it's really geared towards adults. City leaders, they wanted to change that. They wanted to bring family-friendly activities out here, so that's how we got Brickopolis. On the outside over here, they've got miniature golf, bungee trampolines, rock climbing. On the inside over here, they've got laser tag, arcade games, golf simulators, all kinds of good stuff. And right in front of us is something I like to call the Wish Bridge. Call it the Wish Bridge because I really wish it was not here. It's very, very narrow. It's about 8.5 feet wide, and this boat is 8 feet wide. So if you're on my left side and you got your arms, elbows, knees, anything outside of the boat, please bring them in for just a second. I also like to call it the Kiss Bridge because I usually kiss that bridge. But I didn't today. Woo! Good job. Just pat myself on the back right now. All right, over to my right. Woo! What was that? Oh, the balloon popped. And then somebody threw something at us. All right, okay. Over to my right, this is the postcard mural. This was done by a UCO professor and 4 of his students. It was done in celebration of our centennial back in 2007. It shows the evolution of transportation here in the city. Would anybody like to take a guess at how long it took to complete this entire mural? Nobody?
A week?
A week? Anybody else? 10 years? Any other guesses?
8 months.
2 years, 8 months? All right, well, I'm going to blow y'all's minds. You were very close. It took 3 days.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So what they did was they put a projector on top of that hill over there, pointed it at the building, they traced it, and then the next 2 days they colored it in. It's called working smarter, not harder. It's definitely not cheating. What we're going through right now, this is what we like to call the Echo Bridge. I will let y'all be the judge of why. Nice echo. Coming out of the Echo Bridge, we have officially entered Lower Bricktown. Guys, I actually drove these boats about 10 years ago, and back then, a lot of this part of the canal, it was still construction sites. So we called this the imagination part of the tour because we would point to those construction sites and say, imagine this was here and imagine that was here. Today we don't really have that problem. So over here to my right on the bottom floor, this is Revolutions. Inside they have bowling alley, big screen projectors where they play all the big games, big fights, all the good stuff. Weekend nights, when it's nice out here, they usually have live music playing on the patio. It's a lot of fun. But those top 3 floors up there, those are actually condominiums. I don't know if y'all know this, but here in the state of Oklahoma today, the average 3-bed, 2-bath house goes for about $225,000. The last condo that sold in that building, it was a 2-bed, 2-bath condo. It sold for $775,000. So the reason for that big price jump is because technically, this is waterfront property. Over here to the right, this is Harkins Movie Theater. That big wall right there, that is the Cine-Capri screen. When it was first built, this was the largest movie screen in Oklahoma. Fun thing about Harkins Theaters is if you have small children and you don't want to go see a Pixar movie or something of the sort, for the price of a movie ticket, you can drop them off at the daycare center in the theater and go watch a movie without them.
Nice.
Guys, I think they're planning their day trip now. All right, guys, I've got another question for y'all because, man, y'all are looking a little bit bored. All right, does anybody know, where do you send a sick boat? Nobody? To the dock. What do you give that sick boat to make it feel better? Vitamin C. SEA. All right, if you look over to my left, you'll see the world's largest Sonic. Not really. That used to be their corporate headquarters. They actually just sold this building a couple weeks ago, so it will no longer be their corporate headquarters, but until they take that sign down, I'm still going to talk about it. So Sonic actually originated here in Oklahoma. They were originally known as Top Hat Diner, based out of Shawnee, Oklahoma, which is about 35 miles east of here. In the 1950s, they were a steakhouse diner, but one summer, they decided to put a little shack out in their parking lot. And in that shack, they sold 3 things. They sold hot dogs, hamburgers, and root beers, nothing else. In that one summer, that shack made more money than the diner did the entire year. So, owner of the diner, he said, I got to rethink my business plan and work it around that shack. That's what he did. Eventually, became so successful with it, he wanted to expand his business. He looked into it, realized Top Hat had already been trademarked, so he had to think of a new business name. He already used the slogan, service at the speed of sound, so that's how he came up with Sonic. The first official Sonic was opened in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Does anybody like Sonic drinks? Yeah, what are y'all's favorites? Okay, I can't hear anybody. Strawberry slushies,
Yeah, the slushies,
all right.
yeah.
Anybody like cherry limeades? All right, well, do I have a fun fact for y'all? All right, so this canal actually holds 3 million gallons of water. Sonic sells 9.9 million gallons of cherry limeade a year. Yeah. They also sell so much ice cream in a year that you could fill this canal at least 2 times over. Does anybody remember how deep I said the canal was?
4 feet.
4 feet, yes. All right, well, we are now entering the deepest part of the canal. And we are now exiting the deepest part of the canal. So right there, it's about 8 feet deep. That's where we have the drain. We drain the canal once every 3 to 5 years, and when we drain it, we find some really interesting things, which we'll talk about when we come back by.